Welcome to our journey through the ages, where we rediscover the deities that have shaped civilizations. Today we dive into the universe of Isis, the goddess of ancient Egypt, revered as a symbol of magic, motherhood, and rebirth. Isis is not just a central figure in the Egyptian pantheon. She is an icon that transcends eras, evolving and adapting, while always maintaining her powerful resonance. Origins and history. Isis emerges from the mists of antiquity as one of the most beloved and venerated deities of Egypt. Her husband Osiris, her brother Seth, and her son Horus make up the divine family at the heart of Egyptian religiosity. Her origin is lost in prehistory, but Isis soon secures a prominent place, becoming the protector of pharaohs and a guide for souls in the afterlife. Symbolism and attributes. Isis is easily recognizable by the throne that adorns her head, symbolizing her role as queen and protector of the kingdom. Her association with the Nile, the source of life and fertility, reflects her aspect as a goddess of nature. Magic, a central element of her worship, endows her with the power to protect and heal, making her a figure of hope and renewal. Myths and legends. The most touching legend of Isis is undoubtedly the desperate search for the body of Osiris, murdered and dismembered by the jealous Seth. With determination and magic, Isis finds and reassembles the fragments of her consort, symbolizing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. From their union is born Horus, the incarnation of justice and royal legitimacy. One of the lesser-known but profoundly significant legends of Isis is the story of her descent into the underworld to obtain secrets from the beyond. This tale highlights her mastery of magic and her unwavering determination in pursuing knowledge and power for the benefit of her loved ones and followers. According to the myth, Isis, eager to acquire greater magical powers to protect herself, her son Horus, and to assist mortals, decides to undertake a dangerous journey to the afterlife. Her mission was to obtain the secrets of the secret name of Ra, the sun god, who held the supreme power of the universe. Isis knew that knowing the true name of a god would grant her a share of his power. To achieve her goal, Isis resorted to deception. She created a magical serpent from the clay and saliva of Ra, which bit the god, injecting him with a potent venom. Ra, in agony, called all the gods to seek help, but none could heal him. Isis then offered to cure him, but only in exchange for the revelation of his true name. Ra eventually relented, whispering his secret name to Isis. Using this powerful name, Isis cured Ra and in return gained a portion of his divine power. With this new strength, Isis became even more skilled in magic, capable of protecting Horus from the schemes of Seth and assisting mortals with her healing gifts. This legend highlights not only Isis's cunning and wisdom, but also her devotion and determination. It represents her ability to navigate between worlds, to face and overcome the most daunting challenges for the greater good. It also illustrates the recurring theme of death and rebirth, as through the suffering and renewal of Ra, Isis gains the knowledge and power to help and protect others. In this tale, Isis asserts herself as a figure of female power, a keeper of occult wisdom, and a guide for those seeking light in the darkness. Her story is a hymn to resilience, the pursuit of knowledge, and the use of wisdom and power for noble purposes. In Egyptian mythology, the secret name of Ra, or his true name, is a very powerful concept. It was believed that knowing the true name of a divine or magical being would grant control or power over that entity. However, the myth does not specify what this name was. it remains one of the deepest and unrevealed mysteries of the lore. The story of Isis discovering Ra's secret name is a recurring theme in folklore and mythology, underscoring the idea that words and names hold intrinsic power. In the narrative, this name is never revealed to the readers or listeners, maintaining its sacred and mysterious status and highlighting the profound wisdom and power Isis acquired through her cunning. This concept reflects a common theme in many ancient cultures, where the name of a god or spirit is kept secret or is only spoken under very private and sacred circumstances, emphasizing the sanctity and respect owed to such entities. Cults and religious practices. The cult of Isis knew no boundaries. From majestic temples to domestic practices, Isis was honored with rites that celebrated her benevolence and power. The Isiac mysteries, rites of initiation full of symbolism, offered devotees a profound spiritual experience, promising renewal and protection under her wing. The worship of Isis, one of the most venerated deities of ancient Egypt, was characterized by a richness and variety of practices that reflected her broad domain and influence. This veneration extended well beyond the borders of Egypt, infiltrating Greek and Roman cultures and persisting through the centuries to achieve significant prominence in modern religious practices as well. In temples dedicated to Isis were centers of worship and community activity. These sacred spaces were not just places of prayer, but also served as centers of healing, refuge for the needy, and spaces for the celebration of the cycles of life and nature. Priests and priestesses of Isis conducted complex rituals that included offerings, prayers, chants, and dances, creating a bridge between the divine and the mundane. In homes, the worship of Isis also extended to domestic practices. Many worshipped her privately in their hearths, erecting small altars where they offered prayers and offerings to invoke her protection for the family, fertility, and healing. This form of personal devotion reflects the perception of Isis as an accessible goddess, close to the daily concerns of her devotees. The Isiac mysteries. One of the most fascinating aspects of the worship of Isis were the Isiac mysteries, rites of initiation that promised profound spiritual transformation. These mysteries, shrouded in secrecy, were intended to symbolize death and rebirth, inspired by the myth of Osiris's resurrection by Isis. Participants, through symbolic ceremonies and trials, were guided on a journey of symbolic death and rebirth, emerging with a renewed understanding of life, death, and the divine. These rites were laden with symbolism and aimed to instill in the participants a sense of unity with Isis and with the forces of nature and the cosmos. The promise of renewal and protection under the wing of Isis was not just metaphorical, but represented the loving embrace and guidance of the goddess through the trials of life. In summary, the worship of Isis was a complex fabric of public and private practices that reflected her vast range of attributes and powers. From majestic temples to humble homes, Isis was honored as a source of life, healing, and wisdom, and her mysteries offered a path to profound spiritual transformation, guiding the faithful on a journey of inner renewal and connection with the divine. Cultural influence. The figure of Isis transcends ancient Egypt, influencing Greece, Rome, and beyond. Her assimilation into Greco-Roman deities like Demeter and Venus attests to her universality and adaptability. In the modern era, Isis continues to inspire, becoming a reference point for occultism and spiritual currents seeking deep connections with the divine feminine. Isis as a symbol of female power. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of Isis is her role as mother, healer, and sovereign. In her, we see the archetype of the complete woman. possessing wisdom, strength, and unconditional love. Isis thus becomes a beacon for the feminist movement, and for all those seeking to rediscover and celebrate the power and wisdom of the feminine. In conclusion, Isis is not just a goddess of antiquity. She is a living presence that continues to offer inspiration, protection, and guidance. Her worship, rich in myths, symbols, and rites, invites us to reflect on our place in the cycle of life, our connection with nature, and the transformative power of love and magic. Isis reminds us that, even in the darkest trials, hope and rebirth are always possible, guided by the eternal light of the Great Mother. If this exploration into the world of Isis has ignited in you a spark of curiosity or spiritual resonance, I invite you to share this journey, to like and subscribe for more stories of deities that have shaped our world. Share this podcast with those who, like you, seek to weave the threads of the past with the paths of the present.